How's it going, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the Bochum Career Mode. This is episode number 21, and we're going to get into today's episode with some player training and a couple of scout reports and some youth stuff in the background just before our first game. You can see the German scout report, still not amazing players, some okay players there. Simon Bauer, really high rated, just not great in terms of potential, and quite a few okay players in the mid 70s to high 90s in potential wise. And from Poland, only a couple of players really. Viktor Olkowski from last one, and the final one that they give us, that player there, can't pronounce his name. We'll see how he does in a couple of scout reports time once we get a little bit more information about him. We do sign two players here up to the main team as they are 18 years old. Antoine Payard and Andreo, a CDM and a cam. Payard's an interesting player. He does have CDM only as listed as the position he can play as, so I decided to change that as he does have better stats in the wing position, so I made him a right wing and right mid as well as a CDM role, and we'll play him in a couple of those positions, see how he does, and if he actually plays better there, I'll convert him to a right wing probably at the end of the season. As I don't want to straight away move him to that position if he's not any good there. So we'll see how that goes. Heading into the first game of today's episode, it will be against St. Pauli, the second Bundesliga side that have got a bit of a reputation for being the people's club and apparently quite a good team to go and see in real life. It's a team that I definitely want to go and watch at some point. But we take them on as they do finish pretty high up most of the time in the Bundesliga too. And we were looking to take it to them and beat them, as in the previous season we actually had some good games against them, beating them I think 3-0 away from home and also beating them again in the home fixture, so we were looking to take it to them. We actually started off really well, getting the first couple of chances really, as Thomas Eisfeld goes ahead and finishes, really nice finish. He was captain in today's game as Robert Tescher was not starting, as I was wanting to give the old man just a game's rest, and Eisfeld picked up the captain's armband, looking pretty good, and it was a really nice finish by the German cam, getting his second goal of the season and looking pretty decent. I obviously sold Lee Chung-Young, he was taking on his role, and actually from kickoff St. Pauli would make a mistake as Rossi, not really putting a lot of pressure on them, but enough to make them make a mistake, and he breaks through and just instantly scores straight from kickoff, making it 2-0, and Rossi picking up his second goal of the season, making it look quite easy for us. Although, to be honest, St. Pauli weren't playing awfully, it was just they were under a little bit of pressure and pretty much caved. I don't know why they decided to not just clear it there straight from kickoff, but really poor from St. Pauli. It wouldn't be the end of the game for them, as they did get a couple of chances here. Not great chances. Buchmann plays through Tashi as forces a good save from Thomas Kraft, and from the resulting corner we failed to clear it as Rio Mayachi, former Arsenal man, gets it into Buchmann, who eventually takes the shot, forcing a good save from Thomas Kraft. It will be Thomas Kraft that will make a mistake here as Tashi gets a golden opportunity, and luckily our veteran goalkeeper makes up for his mistake, getting across in just enough time to make a good save there. Quite surprised he actually got across there in time, as the 32-year-old, I believe, goes ahead and shows that he's not old enough yet to be slowing down, as he makes a good save there just before half-time. It will be St. Pauli that will come out the better team, getting the better chances in the second half, as a few chances here show that they weren't looking to just sit down and take the result like a couple of our previous oppositions in the previous episode, as they did get a good couple of chances here, just really snapping at them though, not really taking their opportunities, as a chance goes wide there, and a chance from Osorio eventually goes wide again. That wouldn't be all of our chances though. We did seem to sit back a little bit and let St. Pauli sort of take the game by storm. We got a chance here as Viktor Olkowski getting his first start for the club, sadly not being able to put that on target there. Quite a difficult technique for him to go ahead and score. Defensive mistake for us in the latter stages of the game, as St. Pauli would fail to get even a goal in this game, and that would be how the game finished. We actually sort of sat back, as I said, for most of the game, having 4 shots to their 14 in the game, but St. Pauli's shots weren't great, as only 6 of those 14 were on target, and they weren't really troubling us all that much, as Thomas Kraft was able to match a lot of their shots as they were quite tame. But overall, I think when you compare this team to last year's team, we would have probably lost that game or maybe just drawn it, but because we only had a few chances, we actually took them. And I think that's looking really good for our promotion hopes. Whether we finish in third place and get up via the playoffs, or if we finish in second or first, I don't know what's going to happen. But hopefully we can mount a decent promotion sort of bid, and hopefully we can finish up in those top spots. Heading into the second game of today's episode against Dynamo Dresden, we face a team that plays the most bizarre formation in the league, probably actually in FIFA. I don't know many teams that play in that sort of weird three at the back with a million strikers up top, but we faced Dresden and we actually started the game off pretty well as Musa Kone breaks through, and it's a great pass into him. It was a good touch to take it past the first defender, and his pace just takes it past the second defender easily, and Musa Kone goes ahead and makes it 1-0 against his former side. Tried to be a bit respectful of the celebration. I couldn't remember the actual button sort of pressing thing to get him to do the show respect for celebration, but I tried to at least show respect with sort of quite a tame celebration. You can see there, I think it was pretty respectful, and he nets his third goal of the season, probably making Dresden regret selling him to us. We get a second chance here early on as Schaefer, the young lad, was starting, the 16-year-old, and as he broke free, just couldn't quite get it past the goalkeeper there, and it would still remain 1-0 to the away side. Jeremy Jeff there eventually plays it out to the wing. I don't know why he didn't just drive in and take the shot, but after some poor clearance, Lower gets the ball and not a lot could come of it there. It was really poor shot by him. Maybe he could have taken an extra touch and at least put the ball on target. And actually, we would get a chance down the other end there in the 34th minute as Gonvula's shot is saved. And another chance here as he plays through eventually Shipnowski. It's a really great ball played through to him, and he would eventually dink it over the goalkeeper. And a bit of a cheeky finish makes it 2-0 before half-time. And that was pretty much it for Dresden in this half. They were really, really poor. Yeah, I don't know how to explain how we were just so easily breaking down their defence. I think it was because they were playing three at the back and we had basically three strikers up top. And as you can see, it was really working for us in this game at least, as they had no defensive cover. Their midfielders weren't dropping back and their wingers weren't dropping back at all. And you can see here Robert Tesh easily outfoxes their centre-back who's drawn out. It's now basically 1 against 1, and Robert Tesha plays through Gonvula, who's got the strength and the pace to beat off the defenders trying to get back. And sadly, he just didn't take an extra touch, and the goalkeeper makes a decent save there. Looking at the half-time stats, though, we weren't winning in possession, but everything else we were playing much better. We were just able to counter-attack them much more effectively, and Dresden, it would go from bad to worse here, as in the 79th minute, Rossi off the bench would be brought down by the defender, and he'd be sent home for an early bath, as that was really poor by the number 4 for Dresden, and off he goes as the referee gives him a red card there. Pretty much topping off a poor performance, as Dresden would be down to 10 men in the 80th minute. But that didn't stop Dresden from at least trying to get something back from this game, as a lob ball forward proves difficult for Arsenal Janik, and you can see Dekali is the last man to really have to put a bit of pressure on Jeremy Jeff, who actually eventually puts a poor shot at the goal and really wasted an opportunity that he had there. At the other end, our number 11 Rossi would put a ball miles wide of the post, pretty poor from our Uruguayan left winger, and another chance here for him to make up for that poor shot, and that one really should have been put on target at least, as Rossi puts that wide of the post for his second shot in this game. One final chance for Dresden just as the game was drawing an end to try and get a last minute goal to maybe make the scoreline look a little bit more presentable, but the ball was put wide by their number 28, fired wide by some way. Really, again, that should have been put on target, and it would end the game 2-0 to the away side, as Dresden have no goals and really nothing to write home about in that game. Really dreadful. They only had a couple of chances towards the end that were worth talking about, and yeah, poor performance by Dresden and a good performance by us. I'd have to admit that overall, we weren't amazing in terms of the shots towards the end, but I think we put the game to bed in the first half, really. We had a really good first half performance. In the second half, we just defended pretty well and passed the ball about quite nicely and gave Dresden no chance to get back into the game. Going into the final game of today's episode, it will be against Regensburg. As we face the relegation threatened side, we were looking to keep our unbeaten run going. I think it was about 6 games at this point, and also our 6th successive clean sheet in a row would be nice as well. So trying to beat Regensburg in this game would be great. Would be difficult though, as in the previous season we hadn't beaten them at all, and They did prove to be a difficult team to face last year, so we're hoping to start off well, and what a way to start as Gonvula goes ahead and nets his first goal of the game in under 6 minutes there. Questionable celebration from him, but it's a nice finish by Gonvula, and also a really nice assist by Lacroix, who picks up his first assist this season, as I was actually playing in centre mid in this game, as he's got the stats to play there, and I'm looking to transition him into a more central role, whether that's more of an attacking role. I think that'd be what I'd be choosing to do, but he's definitely got the stats to play in that centre midfield role, so that was my aim in this game, to see what he's like. And we get another chance here from kickoff pretty much, as Rossi's played through. He stops and turns, and sadly couldn't beat the keeper there, as he saves his team from going 2-0 down in under 7 minutes there. Rossi gets another chance there, but another well-matched save by the goalkeeper, and he's actually keeping his team in the game here, as Rossi would get a third chance and another good save by the Regensburg keeper, pretty much keeping them in the game up until this point, as they do get a chance here as the ball's whipped in. It's cleared by Kraft, but it's not really cleared very well by Rossi, who picks the ball up, passes it out to their player. The number 7 eventually plays the ball in, and it gets to Vrenesi, who puts the ball into the back of the net, scoring his first goal of the season for Regensburg and putting them back on level terms with us. Really unlucky for us, actually. I think, to be honest, it was poor defending, but just the way the ball got to Vrenesi there, it was unlucky, and not much Thomas Kraft could do to save it, and that would be our clean sheet record gone. I'd have to look it up. I'll put it on screen how many clean sheets we'd got in a row, but it was a pretty good run while it lasted. Thomas Kraft eventually beaten, and it was by a player that hadn't scored all season. What a surprise that was. That wouldn't be the end of the highlights in the first half, as Janelt plays through a fantastic ball into Gonvula, and he chips it over the goalkeeper that had been keeping Regensburg in the game all of this first half pretty much, and Gonvula nets his second goal of the game, making it 2-1 to the home side. And yeah, it was a nice finish, but this assist outside of the boot from Janelt, playing forward Gonvula, really nicely weighted, and absolutely no chance for the keeper to save that as Gonvula chips it over him. But it's another poor bit of play from Regensburg from kickoff, as the ball is just, they're caught sleeping in defence. Ball's played into Gonvula, who easily slots that home and nets his first half hat trick there just before half time. And again, another questionable celebration. I think that's a Giovinco celebration that he does there, and Gonvula makes it 3-1 just before the half-time mark and gets a hat-trick before half-time. A nice way to end off the first half for us, and that's his 7th goal this season. It's looking pretty good for Gonvula. Obviously, he didn't start off particularly well, scoring about 3 in 5, I think it was, and now he's got 7 goals at the moment. Obviously 3 goals in this game, but he's starting to net his goals a little bit more regularly, and it's looking good for the top scorer of last season to get possibly into that top scoring rank again. That's always the hope. I don't really care who gets the goals this season as long as we push for promotion, but if Gonvula gets a second successive Golden Boot award, I wouldn't be complaining too much. The second half did prove to be a little bit more difficult. Regensburg had a couple more chances, but they wouldn't be able to stop Rossi, as he breaks free and doesn't need any help there, as he goes by himself and puts that into the bottom left hand corner. Really good finish by the left winger, and he scores another goal in this episode. Looking really good, actually. Rossi he started off slow again this season. Obviously we signed him and he's probably getting a little bit of time to get used to the team, but he's really coming into his own in the past couple of episodes, playing pretty well. And he's again giving me some selection dilemmas. Who do I play on that left wing? Who do I play on the right wing? We've got plenty of players that can play in those positions, so it's nice. It's a nice problem to have, but it's also a bit of a horrible problem, because there's going to be players complaining about their game time soon enough, and eventually it's going to cause some problems towards probably the January transfer window, maybe players looking to leave to get more game time. But from the goal kick there, ball played forward, and Rossi gets his second goal of the game, making it 5-1. And yeah, just again, fantastic from us. 5-1 against Regensburg. We were looking to maybe match our goal scoring record from the previous season when we beat Nuremberg. I believe it was 7-1 as well. That would possibly happen here, as Eden Wanyu was played forward there, and it was a good tackle, a good last minute tackle by the defence there, keeping him out. And one final chance there as Thomas Kraft keeps out Regensburg, scoring a second goal there. And that's how the game ended. Gonvula picks up the match ball as he scores 3 goals from all 3 attempts. Pretty clinical in that game. And actually, we were very clinical overall. 9 shots, 9 on target, 100% shot accuracy. I don't think I've ever got that before, apart from when I've had 0 shots on target. And 0 shots, might I just add. But that is going to be the end of the episode. As you can see, we are still sitting in 4th place. Hamburg, Nuremberg and Union Berlin above us. It's going to be proving difficult for us to finish above them, but we'll see how we do in the next episode. That'll be the end of today's episode, though. I do hope you enjoyed watching. Do leave a like if you enjoyed this episode, and I will see you for the next episode of Career Mode very soon. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.